Hey guys, GHAZZY TV here with another Path of Exile video. In this one, we're going to be starting to talk about 3.15 League Start build guides. Now, as per usual, every 3 months I am updating all my build guides live on stream, which is what we're doing now and making this video live on stream. So basically, I wanted to talk about the build I just finished updating, which is the pure Spectre build guide using Syndicate operatives. There is a shitload of different versions of this build. The version I'm going to be talking about is the extreme low budget version. There's quite a few changes to it that are quite significant, but in the end, the difference is about 30% damage difference on the lower end, whereas the high budget version has been hit quite hard. So in this version, we have a low budget style, we have a high budget, we also have a tankier medium budget version, and there's a tankier version on low budget, and there's some extreme budget version as well listed in this build guide. However, the forum itself, which is linked in the descriptions below, is actually covering the low budget end. So if you want to try this build out as a league starter, you should definitely try it out. It had no problems defeating Sirius Awakener level 8 before the 3.15 nerfs with using 3 Spectres. So I don't see a problem with using this build as a league starter because that gear was absolute trash. So the major changes on this build has been pretty straightforward. Instead of using a trigger weapon, we are instead moving over to using a bow and a quiver to make use of certain modifiers. I'm going to talk about them briefly in this video, but I will actually have an update to the crafting process of this specific weapon in the links in the descriptions below. There's a crafting hub that you can check, and in there will be a full detailed description of how to craft a cheap version of the bow, a medium budget version of the bow, as well as a high budget version of this minion bow that we're going to be using. Other than that, everything is as it was before. There's a couple of changes to the support gems, flask updates and whatnot, but the guide itself is perfectly fine to go with. So if you want to check it out, do so. And I think this will be one of the meta builds in the upcoming 3.15 league. So I'm going to show you the POV real quick. There is a very cheap, bad, low-level 12 passive cluster. 12 passives are usually very expensive, but only with a proper item level. So the lower item level passives with 12 passive skills is very easy to get. This is not something that you need to worry about. You can get it further down the road when you hit the yellow, even red tier maps. At that point, it should be very easy to get this and hit the crafts, either through alterations, chaos spamming, scour alking, or even if you have any harvest encounters, you can use that. So the general consensus of this build is to keep the cost down, which is why it's using items like Bones of Ulver, for example, Darkness Enthroned, and whatnot. So before we talk about the bow, there are 3 options of a quiver you can use. The defensive oriented one is a rare guard, granting you the possibility of increased chances to block and block spells. The other version of a unique is a Maloney's Mechanism. If you do use this one, you get some extra HP and you can blind the enemies. But you can also start using Blink Arrow instead of Dash for mobility. And you can use Ensnaring Arrow with GMP and Mirage Archer. You can put all of this in your Triad grips and use faster attacks with that as well, which allows you to make the enemies take even more damage, which is a very nice way to compensate the lack of charges that Shield will provide, because we're not using Necromantic Aegis in this version. The third option is obviously just use any rare quiver with life attribute resistances as you feel needed. The bow itself, however, is a bow with level of socketed gems. And you have a couple of options. You can either purchase one of these with an open prefix and then just benchcraft minion damage and use that as a low budget starting approach. You can also use Essences of Fear, with the highest version giving up to 104% minion damage. And then you can get that with +1 level socketed gems. And the crafting process of this is in a detailed guide in the descriptions below. Probably later today or tomorrow we'll have that ready. And then you can benchcraft the increased attack and cast speed instead, which will be a significantly better version for your Spectres over the lower version of just using a +1 with benchcrafted minion damage. So that's basically the approach of this. There's a few, this POB is actually incorrect. I'm going to fix this because the mana reservation is not accurate here. But other than that, this build is absolutely crazy cool. It's going to be one of the meta builds, I believe, for 3.15. It shits on everything, and there's a lot of options for you to upgrade this build to go crazy in the higher end. But I don't want to keep these videos too long, so I hope you guys will have use of this build. But do check out the guide in the descriptions as well as the crafting guide. And let me know what you guys think about Spectres in the upcoming 3.15 league. Hit the like button, subscribe for more content. Till next time, stay safe, keep rocking.